Welcome back, everybody. Sorry it's been a while. It's your man Roger's Ragnarok here. I've been pretty busy lately, and I do apologize for being not so active as I said I would. Work's been very busy. It's getting close to the end of the year. But today I wanted to do another book review today on J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit. This is one of my favorite books. I really enjoyed this book. Probably one of the most peaceful books I have ever read that's made me feel peaceful. Like, whenever I read this book, I felt like I was just walking in the woods. Like, just going about on a trail, like in the woods back at home in the woods. So, let's discuss what this book is about, okay? The Hobbit is a great modern classic and the prelude to Lord of the Rings, which I have Lord of the Rings on my bookshelf, like right up here, along with the Silmarillion. Okay? Bilbo Baggins is a hobbit who enjoys a comfortable, unambitious life, rarely traveling any farther than his pantry or his cellar. But his contentment is disturbed when the wizard Gandalf and a company of dwarves arrive on his doorstep. One day, to whisk him away on an adventure, they have launched a plot to raid the treasure hoard guarded by the Smaug the Magnificent. A large and very dangerous dragon, Bilbo is reluctant to take part in this quest, but he surprises even himself by his resourcefulness and his skill as a burglar. Written for J.R.R. Tolkien's own children, The Hobbit met with instant success when it was published in 1937. It has sold many millions of copies worldwide and established itself as one of the most influential books of our generation by London Times. Freshly original and delightfully imaginative, The Hobbit is a glorious account of a magnificent adventure filled with suspense and seasoned with quite humor that it's irresistible. All those young or old who love a fine adventurous tale, beautifully told, will take The Hobbit to their hearts. New York Times book review. And another review by another author, W.H. Auden. One of the best children's books of this century. Okay, so, The Hobbit here is, as it was told, about a young hobbit named Bilbo Baggins who lives a non-ambitious life, so he just wants to be left alone, just settle down, until he's disturbed by the wizard Gandalf and his company of dwarves to employ him as a burglar to, like, take the hoard of treasure back from a dragon named Smaug. So, the films were split into 3 parts, just like Lord of the Rings was, with Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King. And with The Hobbit, it was An Unexpected Journey, Desolation of Smaug, and Battle of Five Armies. So, I love the book the most. The movies are breathtaking, don't get me wrong. Thank you very much, Ian McKellen, for playing Gandalf, and also the great guys that played the rest of the cast. Okay? So, this book is about Bilbo joining his company of dwarves as a burglar and how he came across the Ring of Power in Gollum's cave, how he met Gollum, and how the whole battle with the five armies began between the orcs, the dwarves, man, elves, and so much more. Eagles included, and even a skin changer named Baron. Okay, so my thoughts on this book. When I started reading this book back a year and a half ago, I couldn't get enough of it. And I wanted to read the backstory first before I read Lord of the Rings. I haven't read Lord of the Rings yet, but if The Hobbit was this good, I'm in for a big surprise. So, if I had to give this book a 1 out of 10, 10 being the best, I'd give it a solid 9. To be honest. Reason why I saw a 9 is because it was more adventure and peace than it was action and violence. Of course, there were some violent times in it, but also, this book also like encourages lateral thinking. Like, if you think about it, the riddles in the dark, when Bilbo asked a game of riddles with Gollum, in exchange, if Bilbo won the game, he would show him the way out of the cave. And if Bilbo lost, Gollum would eat him. So, like what it's saying, how he found the ring in Gollum's cave was he found himself lost in a cave while trying to be, like, captured by the goblins in Goblin Town when the dwarves got captured and he didn't. So, that's how he found the Ring of Power. He stumbled upon it, and also not only stumbled upon the ring, he also stumbled upon the creature Gollum. So, but also, you will find many books with a talking dragon. Of course, like the first talking dragon I ever seen was Draco from, which Sean Connery voice acted in Dragonheart. Another one was the dragon from Aragon. And the first book I've ever read to actually have a talking dragon was Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. So, I would definitely give this book a good read because I do look forward to reading it again. And plus, it has some good songs in it too. Some that'll make you laugh, some that'll make you sad. But it's more of a happy story than it is a sad story. So, with that being said, let me go over a few songs with you. Like, I do know there's one here, not Fire and Water, it was when they stumbled upon Rivendell. Like when the dwarves, Gandalf, and Bilbo Baggins himself stumbled upon the elves in Rivendell. So, after a few... if you do look back in this movie that was made back in the 70s, which was an animated film, which did have these songs. The songs in that movie are very good too, like Down to Goblin Town. So, like, before I get to the songs, let's talk about these riddles in the dark. So, and some of these riddles will sound familiar. When I read them, it took me a moment to think about them while I was reading about these riddles, and like this one. What has roots that nobody sees, is taller than trees, up it goes, and yet never grows? It took me a moment to think about that, and the answer was so simple. The mountain. Okay, so I got a buddy who said, how? I mean, mountains don't have roots, and I'm like, yes they do. He's like, no they don't. I'm like, I know I'm right, and he says, I know you're wrong. And I'm like, look it up, I dare you. And I was right, okay? Mountains do have roots. Up they go, yet never grow. Another one, which this one kind of really encouraged my lateral thinking. 30 white horses on a red hill. First they chip, then they stamp, then they stand still. When I thought about it for a second, like once I read this book, I wanted to think about the riddle first before I read deeper into this chapter, is that, like, 30 white horses on a red hill. So, talks about our teeth. So, the riddle is our teeth. Because the white horses are our teeth, and the red hill is our tongue. So, I got it here somewhere, if I could find that one song. Sorry, that's the kids playing on the playground. Very nice kids, very, very, very funny too. So, here's the song that they heard when stumbling in the woods before reaching Riverdale, or Rivendell. So, they were burning bright and blue. Just then, there came a burst of song like laughter in the trees. So, the song, oh, what are you doing? And there you are going. Your ponies need shoeing. The river is flowing, oh tra-la-la-la-la-lee, here down in the valley. Oh, what are you seeking? And where are you making? The faggots are reeking, the bannocks are beaking, oh tri-la-la-la-lee. The valley is jolly, ha ha. Oh, where are you going? With beards all wagging. No knowing, no knowing. What brings Mr. Baggins and Ballin and Dwellin down in the valley in June, ha ha. Oh, will you be staying, or will you be flying? Your ponies are straying, the daylight is dying. To fly would be folly, to stay would be jolly. And listen and hark till the end of the dark to our tune, ha ha. So, I really enjoyed that part of the chapter of a short rest when they decided to stay at Rivendell for a short amount of time. So, when staying there for a short amount of time, and when they explained to the elves what they were trying to do, like go back to the mountain and take their kingdom back from the dragon Smaug. So, pretty much it was greed that made Smaug take the mountain of Erebor, the great stronghold of the dwarves, a stronghold within a mountain. So, it was ruled by Thror, Thorin's grandson, and also under the other rule of his son Thrain, and passed on to his grandson Thorin. So, it was also greed that destroyed Thor. Like, it was greed of that treasure and the Arkenstone, the King's Jewel that was known as the heart of the mountain. So, pretty much the burglar part for Bilbo was he was hired to sneak into the cave and steal the Arkenstone from the dragon Smaug. So, when Smaug encountered Bilbo, they had a little discussion. So, Smaug was a little bit kind of humorous in this story, but in the movie, that was otherwise. So, pretty much, when Bilbo made contact with this dragon, first thing he asked him, he was only pretending to sleep. He was watching the tunnel entrance. Hurriedly, Bilbo stepped back and blessed the luck on his ring. Then Smaug spoke. Well, thief, I smell you. I feel your air. I hear your breath. Come along, help yourself again. There is plenty and to spare. But Bilbo was not quite so unlearned in the dragon lore as that, and if Smaug hoped to get him to come near so easily, he was disappointed. No, thank you. Oh, Smaug the Tremendous, he replied, I did not come for presents. I only wished to have a look at you, and to see if you were truly as great as all tales say. I did not believe them. Do you now? Said the dragon, somewhat flattered, even though he did not believe a word of it. Truly, songs and tales fall utterly short of the reality, O Smaug, the chiefest and greatest of calamities, replied Bilbo. You have nice manners for a thief and a liar, said the dragon. You seem familiar with my name, but I don't seem to remember smelling you before. Who are you and where do you come from, may I ask? You may indeed. I come from under the hill. And under the hills and over hills my paths led, and through the air I am he who walks unseen. So, I can well believe, said Smaug, but that is hardly your usual name. I am the clue finder, the web cutter, the stinging fly, I was chosen for the lucky number. Lovely titles, sneered the dragon, but luckily numbers don't always come off. I am he that buries his friends alive and drowns them and draws them alive again from the water. I came from the end of a bag, but no bag went over me. These don't sound so creditable, scoffed Smaug. I am the friend of bears and the guest of eagles. I am the ring winner, the lucky wearer. And I am Barrel Rider, went on Bilbo, beginning to be pleased with his riddling. That's better, said Smaug, but don't let your imagination run away with you. So, pretty much, that was what Bilbo said to Smaug to answer his question. Not truthfully answer his question, but to tell him what he is, describing himself. The ring winner, lucky bear, the barrel rider. So, also, Smaug was known as one of the many dragons of Middle-earth. So, there is a list of other dragons. You can find them in the book, The Silmarillion, that will also explain some of the other dragons. But when I watched The Lord of the Rings and I watched The Hobbit, I thought, it's a fantasy world. There's only one dragon. I don't see many other dragons. But I was wrong on that point. When I did some lore research, there are more dragons, my friends. So, like I said, I give this book a 9 out of 10. Very good book to read. Real page turner, I'll say that. And due to all the words, the poems, I was spellbound. And also, it's just breathtaking. So, you can find this book online. You can find it at Barnes & Noble or Second & Charles or your local bookstore. It's a very good book. Me personally, I like to read books, like physically read books. I don't listen to Audible. Like, the only Audible book I've ever listened to was The Art of War by Sun Tzu. So with this book, it's probably one of my personal favorites that I'd really give it a read. And also, very, very enticing. So, it's just very, very, very good book. Another information that I did not know about this author, J.R.R. Tolkien, is I didn't know him and C.S. Lewis, the writer of Narnia, the Narnia Chronicles, was in the same book club together. So, I would definitely look into those books as well. The only Narnia book I have read is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I haven't read Voyage of the Dawn Treader or Prince Caspian. I haven't read any of that. Not yet, at least. So, I really hope y'all enjoyed this whole book review. Because I know what I'm about to do. I'm about to go slay some orcs.